For more than 20 years, I believed I knew every inch of my ranch. Every fence line, every creek, and every hill carried memories built through hard work. But one quiet morning, something on the horizon stopped me in my tracks. 60 houses stood where open pasture was supposed to be. At first, I thought I had taken a wrong turn. The neighborhood looked polished and expensive, but it didn't belong there. According to every survey I owned, that entire section was still part of Mercer Ranch. I dug out every survey my father had ever saved. The measurements matched perfectly. Whoever built those homes had crossed onto private ranch property without my knowledge. I decided to ask questions before making accusations. Sometimes mistakes happen during development. I expected cooperation. Instead, I was about to meet someone who believed money could rewrite property lines. The woman introduced herself as Sarah Collins, president of the HOA. Before I could finish my first question, she insisted the community had every legal right to be there. Her confidence wasn't based on facts. It was based on assumption. I simply listened and let her finish. Sarah waved a stack of paperwork, as if that settled everything. She claimed the developer had completed every step legally. I noticed she never once mentioned the original ranch survey. That detail would matter more than she realized. A few yards away, I found something no one expected. The original property marker was still exactly where it had been placed decades ago. It proved the ranch boundary hadn't moved an inch. Someone had simply ignored it. That afternoon, I met with my attorney. We compared old deeds, county surveys, and historical records. The evidence lined up perfectly. The more we uncovered, the stronger my case became. The county records office confirmed what my family had documented for generations. Every official record pointed to the same conclusion. Those homes had been built across ranch property that had never been sold. I wasn't interested in revenge. I wanted the truth to come out the right way. But after everything I had learned that day, I knew one thing for certain. This story was far from over. The next morning, my attorney was ready to act. We weren't interested in making headlines or starting a public fight. We simply wanted the property lines recognized and the law respected. Across town, the HOA board gathered for an emergency meeting. Sarah assured everyone the ranch owner was bluffing. Most of the board believed their expensive attorneys would make the problem disappear. 2 days later, the official legal notice arrived. The lawsuit didn't ask for money. It asked the court to confirm ownership of the ranch land and determine who actually controlled the only access road. Neither side spoke much before the hearing. My attorney focused on facts, while the HOA's legal team seemed convinced confidence alone would win the day. I remained patient. The judge examined every survey, every deed, and every county record. Nothing was rushed. Every piece of evidence pointed back to the same conclusion. The property boundaries have remained unchanged for decades. Historical aerial photos revealed something important. The neighborhood's only road crossed private ranch land from the very beginning. No permanent legal access had ever been recorded. The hearing ended without dramatic speeches or raised voices. The judge scheduled the final decision after reviewing the remaining documents. As we walked outside, I could already sense the balance beginning to shift. After reviewing every document, the judge returned with the final decision. The evidence was clear and consistent. Mercer Ranch remained the legal owner of the land beneath the neighborhood's only access road. The ruling wasn't about punishment. It simply confirmed property ownership. The sheriff was instructed to ensure the court's decision would be respected by everyone involved. Later that afternoon, I returned to my ranch. With the court's decision in hand, I closed the gate across my private road. It wasn't done out of anger. It was simply the legal boundary being respected. It didn't take long for the neighborhood to notice. Residents gathered at the gate, wondering why it was locked. Many had no idea the road they used every day crossed private property. Sarah asked if we could work something out. I told her I had always been willing to talk. Unfortunately, the first conversation had ended with a lawsuit instead of cooperation. For many homeowners, the truth came as a complete surprise. Most believed the developer had secured permanent access before construction began. They realized they had trusted paperwork they had never personally verified. This time, the conversation sounded very different. Everyone focused on practical solutions instead of accusations. Respect replaced assumptions, and progress finally became possible. That experience reminded me that good neighbors begin with honesty and respect. Property rights matter, but so does communication. In the end, solving problems peacefully is always stronger than creating bigger ones. The following morning, more homeowners arrived at the gate looking for answers. Sheriff Harris calmly explained that the court order wasn't a punishment. It simply confirmed who legally owned the road. Most residents listened carefully, realizing the situation was very different from what they had been told. That evening, the HOA board held another emergency meeting. This time, no one argued with the survey maps or the court records. The discussion shifted toward finding a permanent solution that would protect every homeowner's future. For the first time, everyone approached the conversation with respect instead of assumptions. My attorney explained that cooperation could solve the issue much faster than another lawsuit. The atmosphere felt completely different from our first meeting. I made one thing clear. I wasn't interested in creating unnecessary hardship for families who had purchased their homes in good faith. If a fair legal agreement could be reached, I was willing to consider it. Looking across the valley, I realized this had never been about winning. It was about protecting something my family had built over generations. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another HOA story. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We'd love to hear from you.